was a crazy movie because it was a great movie, but it seemed like there was resistance to that movie.
Oh yeah, no, there was,
which I thought was very strange. There was like Hollywood resistance to that movie. Like people didn't like that you were making it. It seemed like.
Yeah, there was a lot of opposition to it.
In a powerful and emotional moment, Joe Rogan was brought to tears as Mel Gibson revealed shocking secrets about the Passion of the Christ that no one saw coming. During a deep conversation, Gibson shared hidden meanings, untold truths, and behind-the-scenes struggles that left Rogan and the audience speechless.
It was bizarre. The wind was blowing hard. The clouds were... It felt like I could jump up and touch them. And that was very mystical, what was happening in the ground. You could feel something in the ground.
What was really happening behind the camera? And why is this film still sparking controversy today? This emotional exchange sheds new light on one of the most talked about movies in history. Join us as we dive into the details of the story. You don't want to miss this. Joe Rogan's emotional cry. It was reported that Mel Gibson featured in one of the most intense episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience. The legendary actor and producer, who reportedly gave detailed information of what happened behind the scenes of his popular film, The Passion of the Christ, further opened up about his deep-rooted faith, the challenges he faced in bringing Christian-centered films to Hollywood, and his views on Darwinian evolution. Reports have it that the powerful conversation in a sheer moment of emotion had Joe Rogan visibly moved and brought him close to tears. Now, the real question is, what exactly touched Rogan so deeply? And what did Mel Gibson reveal that brought such weight to the conversation? Before we dive deep into the heart of the story, let's rewind a little and take a closer look at the legendary actor's early life and rise to fame. Brace up for a far more exciting revelation that will put you on the edge of your seat. Reports have it that Mel Gibson's path to fame began long before he became a household name. According to biographers, his rise was not solely due to raw talent, but rather a journey deeply shaped by his upbringing, religious roots, and early life circumstances. Observers believed that these formative influences guided both his acting and directorial vision. Sources confirmed that Mel Columcille Gerard Gibson was born in Peekskill, New York, as one of 11 children in a devout Roman Catholic household. His father, Hutton Gibson, was reported to have held strong religious and political convictions, while his mother, Anne Patricia Riley, was described as being of Irish descent. Her cultural identity reportedly played a major role in nurturing Gibson's faith and worldview. Analysts remarked that this unique blend of religious discipline and cultural pride helped shape the young Mel during turbulent times. It was widely reported that in the late 1960s, Hutton Gibson made the life-altering decision to move the entire family to Australia. For a 12-year-old Mel Gibson, observers noted that the shift was both emotional and disorienting. Sources claimed that Gibson found it challenging to fit in at first. He faced both cultural differences and social hurdles. Reports have it that Mel Gibson attended St. Leo's Catholic College and later Asquith Boys High School, where he developed a reputation for resilience and perseverance. Observers noted that these early challenges helped him develop a thick skin and a sharp sense of humor, both of which would serve him well in his acting career. According to former classmates and faculty, it was at Sydney's prestigious National Institute of Dramatic Art that Gibson's journey into acting truly began. Reports have it that he had not initially set his sights on becoming an actor, but his sister had actually submitted his application. That twist of fate, insiders believed, altered the course of his life forever. At the National Institute of Dramatic Art, Gibson reportedly immersed himself in classical theater training, surrounded by passionate peers and mentors. Sources said that although he struggled with authority at times, he showed immense promise. His participation in multiple stage productions was seen as a period of critical artistic development, which laid the foundation for the emotional intensity he would later bring to film. Not long after graduating, it was reported that Gibson landed his breakout role as Max Rockatansky in the 1979 Mad Max movie, directed by George Miller. The thriller showcased Gibson's gritty charisma and emotional depth. Critics at the time observed that Gibson's performance was as a result of his turbulent upbringing, which made the role a raw authenticity. That role, they claimed, catapulted him into international stardom. As his career began to soar, Gibson was said to have remained grounded in the values instilled during his youth. Analysts remarked that his Catholic upbringing and his father's skeptical views of politics and modern society continued to influence his personal and professional choices. His performances in the 1981 Gallipoli and The Year of Living Dangerously Shot in 1982 were widely praised for their complexity, and sources believed they further cemented his reputation as a serious actor capable of tackling layered, morally conflicted characters. Throughout this period, it was noted that Gibson carried the emotional weight of his formative years into his craft. Commentators emphasized that the move to Australia, his early struggles, and his classical training had all shaped an identity rooted in both strength and self-reflection. These experiences reportedly molded him into an actor and director unafraid to confront controversial themes or challenge cinematic conventions. Observers concluded that Gibson's early life was marked by displacement, religious conviction, and a constant search for identity. These elements didn't just shape the man, but they helped define a creative legacy that would span for decades. From adjusting to a new country as a boy to becoming one of the most talked-about figures in Hollywood, Gibson's story was, above all, one of resilience, transformation, and unexpected triumph. But with all this behind him, the real question remained. What did Mel Gibson say that struck such a deep chord, and what part of his story moved Joe Rogan to tears? This might just be the beginning of what is about to be revealed. Mel Gibson's untold story. In his conversation with podcast Joe Rogan, Gibson revisited the legacy of his 2004 film, The Passion of the Christ. He revealed that the project not only redefined religious cinema, but also cast him into the shadows of Hollywood for a time. The Hollywood actor and filmmaker, who was among those who tragically lost their homes in the devastating Los Angeles fires, spoke about the deep spiritual impact the film had on its lead actor, Jim Caviezel. He explained that his effort to secure distribution for the film revealed what he believed was Hollywood's deep-rooted resistance to Christian narratives. He said that despite the film's profound message, no major studio was willing to back it. He revealed that he had to personally finance the film, investing $30 million of his own money to bring the vision to life. He opened up on how he had warned Caviezel early on that the role of Jesus would be extremely demanding, and that taking it could result in him being sidelined in Hollywood. He then revealed that Caviezel had to request a day to reflect before accepting the offer. It was reported that the filming took a heavy toll on Caviezel both physically and emotionally. Sources stated that he lost 45 pounds during the shoot, was struck by lightning, and was accidentally whipped twice, which left a 14-inch scar on his back. Reports have it that Caviezel dislocated his shoulder and developed pneumonia and hypothermia from standing almost naked on a cross in freezing outdoor conditions for extended periods. Reports also claim that his body was so depleted from the ordeal that he had to undergo 2 open-heart surgeries following production. The crucifixion scene alone reportedly took 5 weeks to film out of a 2-month production schedule. According to co-star Pedro Sarubi, one of the most striking moments from the set occurred when he felt as though Caviezel was no longer himself while portraying Jesus. Sarubi reportedly said that Caviezel's eyes were filled with mercy and love, not hatred or resentment. He described it as something deeply moving and transformative. Mel Gibson noted that the film had a spiritual impact beyond the audience. Reports claimed that Luca Lionello, the actor who portrayed Judas and was a declared atheist at the start of production, eventually converted to Christianity, confessed his sins, and baptized his children after completing the film. One of the main technicians, who was Muslim at the time, is also said to have converted to Christianity. Some producers reportedly claimed that they had seen mysterious individuals dressed in white who appeared on set to offer guidance, but were never seen again after filming concluded. Despite the hurdles, The Passion of the Christ reportedly went on to become a global box office phenomenon. It was reported to be the highest-grossing R-rated film in U.S. history, earning $370.8 million domestically and $611 million worldwide. Sources close to the project maintain that the film touched countless lives spiritually across the globe. Caviezel, who is known to be a devout Catholic, has since continued to speak openly about his faith and has reportedly ministered in churches across many denominations. This is believed to have been made possible largely because of the powerful impact his role in The Passion of the Christ had on Christian audiences. Though there had been previous reports that the video of Gibson's interview with Joe Rogan had been removed, it now appears to be available again. The now famous interview has reportedly generated lots of controversy as readers began to give views on Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ movie. How did the public react to the interview and widely proclaimed movie? Stick around until the end for a surprise twist. Public reactions. The Passion of the Christ, which focused on the final 12 hours of Jesus Christ's life, sparked intense debate among viewers. Many shared their thoughts, discussing the film's emotional weight, graphic violence, and its portrayal of those responsible for Jesus' death. One viewer, known online as Dynatrack, reportedly said that the film didn't try to tell the full story of Jesus, but instead focused on his suffering. He was said to have praised the film for being the first to seriously show the intensity of Christ's pain. According to him, the violence wasn't unnecessary. He described it as a true representation of what Jesus went through. Another viewer, Mineni Sansi, was reported to have disliked the movie. He apparently believed it was poorly made, full of slow flashbacks and too much violence. He questioned why every beating and nail had to be shown, and added that some things should have been left to the imagination. He also found the scene with the crow unnecessary. Dr. Langenfeld was reported to have urged people to watch the film and talk about it with family and friends. He was believed to have appreciated the movie not just for religious reasons, but for its powerful message about sacrifice, faith, and love. Bill Meekum was reported to have called the film personal and emotional. He reportedly said it made him reflect more deeply on Jesus' love, especially how Jesus forgave people despite their wickedness and hate. A viewer named Breton Elward was said to have made a sarcastic remark, noting that crucifixion used to be a public event meant to shock people. He joked that Mel Gibson had brought that feeling back to life after 2,000 years. Luminaria reportedly watched the film with her mother and teenage son. She said they didn't see the movie as anti-Semitic. According to her, the villains included corrupt leaders, paid mobs, and cruel Roman soldiers, while many Jewish characters were shown as compassionate and caring. However, Biscuit 2K was said to have had a very negative physical reaction. He reported feeling sick and nearly fainting. He expected to feel inspired, but instead was overwhelmed by what he called a drawn-out display of suffering. Vietlover, who described himself as a fallen Christian, reportedly didn't expect much from the film, but after watching, he was surprised by how deeply moved he felt. He admitted it might have even inspired him to reconnect with his faith. Johanna reported to have gone to see the film out of curiosity after hearing others complain about its violence and possible anti-Semitism. She said she cringed during every painful scene and felt Mary's grief deeply. She believed the film was powerful and couldn't imagine it being any softer without losing its message. Harmonque reportedly expressed admiration for Gibson's work. He said Gibson showed real artistic talent and added that he no longer saw him as just an action actor. According to him, the film was one of the best he had seen in a decade. On the other hand, Smess was said to have felt disappointed. He believed the film focused too much on Jesus as a victim of violence rather than as a savior. He said the movie missed a chance to explain what true faith really meant. Finally, Quolman reportedly recalled a lesson from a Catholic class, which said that without the resurrection, Jesus' passion would just be a sad story of suffering. He believed Gibson gave only a brief glimpse of the resurrection, and instead left viewers with a lasting impression of pain and bloodshed. Some news outlets reportedly described Mel Gibson's film as troubling, and even suggested it might be anti-Semitic. Reports indicated that Gibson, who financed the $30 million project, produced it, and also co-wrote the script, denied those accusations. Sources said he responded to criticism from Jewish groups by agreeing to remove a controversial subtitle from the film. The line that had "His blood be upon us" and "on our children" was believed to have been taken from the Gospel of Matthew 27, verse 25, and originally spoken by a Jewish crowd. But despite the backlash and debate, reports have continued to highlight one undeniable truth: that Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ left a mark that few films ever do. But the real question is, what kind of legacy did it truly leave behind? Hold on, because the best part is coming up. Mel Gibson's impact and legacy. It was reported that The Passion of the Christ had redefined how biblical stories were portrayed on screen, creating a cinematic legacy that, according to many commentators, continued to spark conversation even 2 decades after its release. Sources stated that Mel Gibson revealed his inspiration for creating the film stemmed from a period of personal turmoil. He was reported to have described this phase as a moment of spiritual bankruptcy, which reportedly led him to seek solace in the Bible. Though already familiar with Christian teachings, reports indicated that his meditation on the Gospels during that difficult time rekindled his faith. Observers noted that Gibson's spiritual journey might have resonated with Filipino audiences in particular, given the country's strong religious traditions and deep familiarity with the story of Christ's suffering. Commentators claimed that, while historical texts and traditional artworks such as films, sculptures, and paintings were widespread in Filipino culture, many still found it difficult to fully grasp the depth of Christ's sacrifice. According to sources, Gibson's film helped bridge that gap through its vivid and emotional storytelling. Critics praised the film's production elements, with reports citing Caleb Deschanel's powerful cinematography, John Debney's evocative musical score, and Jim Caviezel's intense portrayal of Christ as factors that kept viewers emotionally engaged. It was widely believed that the film offered not just a visual retelling, but a deeply spiritual and artistic experience that, according to reports, remained impactful even 21 years after its initial release. Speaking to Sight magazine, Gibson was reported to have expressed his hope that the film would encourage viewers to explore the life of Christ on their own. He said that some of the imagery and sound were intentionally powerful, and that they were designed to provoke deep thought and introspection. Gibson allegedly admitted that while certain scenes might disturb or unsettle audiences, others might find themselves unable to look away, staying with the film to the very end due to its emotional pull. In addition, reports confirmed that Gibson had plans to produce a sequel titled Resurrection, which would focus on the events following Christ's crucifixion. The upcoming project will reportedly aim at exploring the deeper theological core of Christian belief, continuing the powerful narrative that began with the Passion of the Christ. What do you think about Joe Rogan's latest interview with Mel Gibson? And what's your thought on the Passion of the Christ movie? Do share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the following video showing.